Taxes. Take 4. Not a joke. All right, so let's talk about taxes. You're wondering, like, I don't want to pay taxes. Taxes are dumb. Or I don't care about taxes, Mr. Claiborne. I don't even have any money. I don't have a job. I'm still in high school. Why should I care about taxes at all? Well, lucky for you, you've just been hired. Congratulations. Look at you with your little low pixelated grin going off to work. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, just such high quality when you take pictures right off the internet. Anyways, now before you go to work, hold on there. Somebody wants to talk to you. It's the IRS. Yeah, they need to remind you, you got to pay your taxes, or else. Seriously, though, you pay your taxes. That's how Al Capone got put in jail. Taxes, you better. Anyways, you're wondering, how do you pay your taxes? Fun fact, most of you already do. You're wondering, like, how do I already pay taxes? Well, no way, it's not cool. Yeah, well, you do pay taxes, believe it. So, right now, you can pay taxes since I just hired you. You have a job and you're going to earn money. That's called income tax, right? But you're like, oh, that's make-believe, Mr. Claiborne. I don't actually pay taxes yet. Well, you also get to pay taxes when you spend money, or sales tax. Yeah, so that's how most of you have already been paying taxes. If you go buy things at a store, you pay some sales tax and you're already paying your taxes. The last way is if you have lots of money. That's called the wealth tax. So if you earn money, spend money, or have lots of money, you get to pay taxes. Yep. All right. Side note, though, those words, income tax, sales tax, wealth tax, you need to know those for your test. All right. Now, how do you pay your taxes? Let's go with income tax. We'll start with that one. That's tax from your job. I just hired you. It's also called earned income. Another keyword you should know for your test. So taxes from any income that you make, that's earned income tax. Now, there's 3 types of income tax that you pay whenever you get your paycheck. That's federal, state, and FICA. So federal are taxes you pay to the U.S. government. Those go to Washington, D.C. State goes to the state you live in. So for us, that would go to Sacramento in California. And the last one is FICA, which is... it's like a taxation of retirement fund. Pretty much the government doesn't believe that you can be responsible enough to fund your own retirement, so everyone pays into Social Security, and then everyone benefits from Social Security when they get older. Sad thing is they're right about some people. Don't let them be right about you. Fund your own retirement. Anyways, hey, look at that. It's a wallet. Why did I put that there? I don't know. Oh, right. How does the IRS decide how much I should pay? Right. So you're like, okay, great. I got this job. I got to pay taxes. Why is everyone complaining about them? How could it really be that bad? Is it a whole lot of tax? Well, funny thing is, they don't decide how much you pay. You do. Kind of. No, you don't. So when you start a new job, you're going to fill out a piece of paper called the W-4 form. How you fill out this piece of paper determines how much income tax you pay every month. So the way you fill out this paper is you're going to put some exemptions on there. You read it line by line, and they'll tell you, hey, if you fall in this category, put a 1 in this block. And then you add up all the 1s. And then that number that you get at the end determines how much or how little you pay in taxes, right? And then at the end of the year, you get to see if you were right or wrong. Now, this is a W-4 form. This is the thing I was just talking about. This is what you fill out, right? So you see right there in the middle, line 5, total number of allowances you were claiming from line H or above from the applicable worksheet, right? And some of you are thinking, this is scary, and you're so confused, and you're like, I don't want to do this. This is too much. There's print and there's lines. Well, don't worry. The IRS has provided instructions, right? They knew that this would happen, and they care about you, and they really want you to be able to pay them money, so they gave you instructions, right? It's like, oh, yay, master's giving Dobby instructions. These are the instructions. Yay. Seriously, these are the actual instructions. Yeah, this is how you... Yep. Okay. Anyways, so the year goes on. You've been working at your fake job now for like 9 months, and it's now... tax day, right? Which is April 15th, by the way. Don't forget it. The way that I always remember it is it's the Ides of April, right? So the Ides of April, that's tax day. If you don't know what the Ides of April means, then you need to read more Shakespeare. Anyways, the point is April 15th every year, everyone has to file their taxes, and then you get to find out how well you filled out your W-4 months ago or years ago, depending on how long you've been at that job, right? So depending on the number of exemptions you put, and how much taxes you've been paying every month, you find out if you put too few deductions. So if that number you put on the end of your W-4 was a 7 and it should have been a 9, then you get a return because you weren't supposed to be paying that much in tax every month. Some of you are like, yay, that sounds good. Dave Ramsey doesn't like that. I'll explain why in a second. Now, if you fall in the other category where your tax number should have been a 7, but you only put down, you put down a 9, right? A 9 meaning you got more deductions, right? So you got 9 deductions when you only should have got 7. You're going to owe them the difference. So all those taxes that you should have been paying every month, you have to pay back on April 15th. And don't worry, they have payment plans. So that's why filing taxes is important. Filling out your W-4 is important because if you get it wrong, you get a return or you get some money back. Now, I said before, some of you are like, getting a return doesn't sound bad. My parents get a return. That's pretty good. When you get a return, what that means is that you gave the government a tax-free loan. Right? So if you were only supposed to be paying $200 in taxes every month off your paycheck, and you filled out the numbers wrong, so you were paying $250, and you think, oh, cool, I get all that money back. You got zero interest on that $50 every month. You could have put that $50 in a mutual fund. That's Dave Ramsey's reasoning as to why you should always have your taxes balance out at zero. I've never been able to do that. I can't make my taxes hit zero at the end of the year, but I can get them pretty close. So you should be trying to get as small of a return as possible. So instead of it being balanced out, I would say you should be getting as small a return as possible, not including different credits that the government passes out. All right, now other income taxes. Those include portfolio income and passive income, right? So there's 3 ways to earn income. Income is one of the 3 types of tasks. Portfolio income, that happens when you sell an investment for profit. So if you're a stockbroker or a trader, right? It's also called capital gains. Haha. So that's portfolio income called capital gains. Important words you should know. Mostly the portfolio one, not so much the gains. Now, passive income, right? Some of you wonder, why in the world is George Lucas on the screen? Well, because passive income is money you earn regularly with little or no effort, as seen in the last 3 movies, or it's a property or business you're not active in running, also seen in the last 3 movies, and it's an intellectual property, right? So he gets royalties for anything Star Wars because he created it. So that's why George Lucas is up there. He's like a picture of passive income. Okay, let's stop talking about things that make me sad, like the new Star Wars. Now, let's talk about how done paying me taxes. We talked about income tax. Let's talk about spending money and paying taxes. Sales tax, right? That's the one that you already do. Yeah. Okay, sales tax. Where is it? It's right here. Kapow. You guys already knew about that one. Anytime you buy something, you pay sales tax. So that's where it is. It's also here, too, in this thing called excise tax. Excise tax, right? You should learn that word, excise. Excise tax. You should probably just learn how to say that word once fast, because it's weird. Excise. Don't even try to say it 3 times in a row. The universe might explode. Now, excise tax is tax on the consumption of certain goods. Certain goods. You think, Mr. Cleveland, what goods are those? Well, it's goods like gas. Whoa, what's going on? There it is. Haha. Goods like gas, plane tickets, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, right? And some of you are like, oh, wow, that's kind of weird. Some of you are like, hey, I get why they're taxing some things but not others, right? So excise taxes are usually voted upon, and you may or may not agree with them, right? Some of you are sitting there thinking like, hey, maybe we should tax alcohol and tobacco because that's bad for people and that's a good thing, right? And that's usually the reasoning in putting on an excise tax is people would like to put on an excise tax to limit the use of something, right? I'm going to stand on my soapbox real quick. I'm going to talk about how I think excise tax is probably not a great idea because I don't think it helps. Specifically, if your purpose is to get people to stop using things, right? Because I can tell you about 3 out of 5 of these things, right? So, well, 4, I guess. So for alcohol and tobacco, when I was in the military, I knew a lot of guys who drank lots of alcohol and beer, and I knew guys who would smoke and chew tobacco all day long. And they knew exactly when the tax is raised every single time, and they would always complain about it. And then they would always smoke the same amount of tobacco, and then they'd always drink the same amount of alcohol. And instead of buying less because the taxes, whoops, wrong button. Instead of buying less of this stuff because of the taxes, instead of buying less of that stuff, they would buy the exact same amount and then do things like, oh, how can I cut my water bill? Oh, maybe I can just buy cheaper food, right? The funny thing about things on this list of excise taxes is people are usually not willing to go without them. So if you want to tax alcohol or tobacco in an effort to get people to use them less, just know people don't drink alcohol or smoke tobacco because of how much it costs. or because it's bad for their health. They do it because they have emotional problems and they're probably self-medicating, or they don't know how to deal with stress properly. So, or they've just got really bad habits and they don't care. So, how much you charge them for their alcohol or tobacco is not going to limit their habits at all. Let's talk about the other ones, like plane tickets. Plane tickets, I have no idea why those are taxed. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, people fly on planes to go conduct business. They fly on planes to go see their families. And I guess if you want to tax that, you don't want people to do business and make money or see their families. I don't understand that one. That one doesn't make sense to me. Gas is another weird one. You don't want, if you want to tax gas so that way people are driving less so they don't get to do business or see their families. I don't know. I mean, some people would argue, oh, we need to tax gas so people will not use gas to save the environment. You're not God. You can't save the environment. Also, it's not dying. Let's see here. Let's go back to, the last one, firearms. Oh, okay, this is the funniest one on the list, okay? So people genuinely tax firearms because they don't want people to buy guns and they don't think that people having guns is safe. And it really backfires on them because every single time they increase the taxes on firearms, people go buy more. So if your reasoning for excise tax is we're going to tax these things so people use them less, you're failing miserably. Maybe you should come up with a better reason as to why you think excise tax is okay. If you do have a better reason, that's awesome. Great. Tell me in class. All right, now let's talk about how done pay me taxes. Okay, well, we did income tax, we did sales tax. Now let's talk about the wealth tax. If you have too much money, you're going to get taxed. All right, wealth tax is the primary tax on wealth and property. All right, property such as homes, land, businesses, all the things in the scale there. So business property could be like a commercial storefront or, like a business building, right? So that gets taxed. Also, if you own a home, you pay property tax because you own things and you've got money, so we better tax it. Other things like cars, boats, and recreational vehicles, everyone pays a car tax in the form of registration every year. So that's fun. That's great. Boats, if you have a boat, you have to pay tax on that too, right? Never mind the fact that you worked hard enough to be able to afford a boat, you're going to get taxed. Then there's also recreational vehicles like ATVs, etc., stuff like that. There's special tax when you buy those. And then the last one is inheritance, estate, and gift taxes. So if you receive an inheritance, that gets taxed. If you receive an estate from someone who died, that gets taxed. Or if you get a large gift over a certain amount of money, it's supposed to get taxed. I'm going to be honest, I don't know exactly how the gift one works. I don't understand. I guess there's a way that people used to cheat taxes by gifting large amounts of, I don't know. I'm not a criminal. Check with your tax person. Anyways, we've learned how to pay the 3 types of taxes. Good job. They're all done with. We don't have to talk about them anymore. And that's the end.